Hi, this is Rick live again. I'm doing the part two because there was a part I missed. My son told me about, and my sound was turned off on the earlier one. Thank you, Pascal, for catching that. But I wanted to point out an interesting anomaly that my son pointed out on this graph. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So that's what sweet spot part two. All right. So you see this graph, you see the banding right down here on the left. And I screwed up my axes earlier, x-axis, y-axis. You go up the x-axis, you see this dark banding that occurs. This is where pools that are down here around 10 million stake or below, they make one block. So this first dark band is probably one block. This second band is when those pools make 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks, and so on. And you can see how it goes up here as the lower the stake is, and they make one block, the more return, the more ROS you get. And that's what this banding is. Then again, you have the banding up here in what I call the sweet spot between 60 and about 85 million roughly, even up to 90 million right here. This dark band is when that pool hit 40 blocks, and then the next band behind it would be 39. That's the best we can figure out what that means. And then there's a third band starting to form, that'd be 38. So you got 40, 39, 38. Then you got it down here at 1, 2, 3, and 4 starting to band. There's another band here that's occurring around 12 to 15 million. I'm not sure what that is. Then you have this lower dark line across the bottom. That's pools that had, say, 80 to 100 million stake on them, and they didn't produce any blocks. So I just wanted to add to that. Another thing I wanted to clarify, the optimal number of pools was 100, and I didn't go into the math earlier on how this helps the smaller pools. So if K equals 100 for the optimal number of pools, right now there's about 300 block producing pools, about 800 active pools. But if you use, instead of using the saturation point of about 110 million to 120 million, if you use this optimal zone between 60 and 80 million, here's where it benefits the smaller pools, where they could use this information to help promote their pool. And you could say, let's say there's 12 billion ADA, and I'm not going to type in 12 billion. I'm going to type in 12,000 million to represent 12 billion. And you divide that by this optimal zone of 80 right here. I'm going to use 80 million. So I'm going to divide that by 80. Instead of 100, I get 150. So the optimal zone makes a little bit more room for pools with lower stake, where if people are staked on higher pools, then going to one with a lower stake level could be beneficial. And also, like I explained earlier, you can use these little bands right here to figure out if you like to gamble and you want to play the dice and get a really small pool going and try to hit a block or two and get a very high ROS off it. But the difference is, or the key is, right out here where you get dispersion, this is where you get consistent results as far as the amount of stake versus getting a good ROS. You get high ROS over here, but it becomes inconsistent. The pattern starts to break up, and you have better chances over here. Let me get rid of that calculator. You see how it starts to break up over here again once you start getting up to 120 million zone. So that looks like the consistent zone. Okay, I just wanted to add that to the video. So y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching Digital Fortress. Bye-bye now.